Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. So today is going to be a little bit different on how I normally read, but it's time for a little bit of a mix-up. So today I'm going to do 4 piles just like usual. However, each pile is going to have multiple cards, so it's going to be split into light and shadow. So we're going to be talking to the light aspects of how you can tap into that, what's coming up, maybe something that's up there that you can ground into your current reality, and also the shadow, so maybe something to look at if you are interested in working your shadows. So we'll shuffle these and we'll pick 4 piles today. So in this video there won't be any shuffling process because I'm going to do that during the readings. It's going to jump straight from the start, or the pick a pile selection start, and then we'll go straight into your readings. Trying to turn the eyeballs straight facing up. Like this one from here. Okay, yeah. Gotcha. Move these over. Alright, so let's take a look at what cards are here today. So these will be the piles you pick from. So for pile number 1, you have Aquarius with innovative, rational, and humanitarian. Okay. And for pile 2, you have the waxing crescent moon, focus, conceptualization, and strategy. For pile number 3, you have the new moon with creation, intention, and potential. And for pile number 4, you have the sun with life, vitality, and purpose. So take your time with these 4 piles, see which one's called to you. If there's multiple, feel free to watch each video and take what resonates. As always, this video will be up for as long as it needs to be. My intention is to keep it there, this reading, indefinitely. Okay, so I'll leave you here and I'll see you in your readings. Just so you know, down in the description you can jump straight to your video. I'll make sure I timestamp each one. Hello pile number 1. So today you have chosen the Aquarius card with innovative, rational, and humanitarian. So really interesting that the rest were kind of moon cycles and sun, and then we have one astrology star sign. Okay, so first of all, what I'm going to do is shuffle. What I might do is also put a little split in here, so it's like shuffling all the way to the actual reading, just in case if people have, want to get through the message. But I'm going to start with the shadow first, and I'll also timestamp that, so there's going to be lots of timestamps, let's just say that. Okay, so this is for the collective, for Aquarius, for pile number 1. What do they need to know about working their shadow? Okay. So you've got the golden ratio with beauty, nature, and patterns. And you've also got the reptilians with predator, survival, and tyrannical. Interesting. Interesting coming through with patterns and then this kind of cycle. It almost kind of feels like, the overview, power in big corporations, big companies, government, that kind of thing. It's coming through very like I guess, global, especially with Aquarius, because Aquarius is not about that. Aquarius is about power back to the people. So maybe this, and with regards to your shadow, is like seeing all the stuff out there, but knowing that, you know, when we're here, there's always up. There's always a place out of this, getting power back to you. Maybe this is in like a more local situation. It's more about family or friends or something like that. And so it's like, is there a pattern in here that's kind of blocking the like your vision or view on your own kind of inner soul beauty or your path, or just is there something blocking that? So maybe there's something you can do with I guess doing what you can. Humanitarian is doing what they can for the people. Okay, interesting. Okay, so I'm going to select more cards. I probably shouldn't flip them straight away because I get messages immediately, but I'm just going by exactly what I see in the cards, what I get, I guess via intuition or psychically, if you want to say it like that. I'm just going to talk to it. So yeah, while this can be global, it can also be individual. I would say don't feed the fire if it's global. You don't have to participate in all of that, because we want to be informed, right, and know what's going on in the world. But when you see 90% on the news is like all these horrible stories, that's not the world. That is a portion or a very small section of the world. Okay, so working your shadow. Okay, so you've got Lord Ganesh with infinite abundance, obstacles being removed. Great. Also see spiritual support and connections are increasing. So while I was talking about abundance, it's really talking about, I guess, willpower and what you want to put your energy into, and not holding back. Obstacles being removed is fears, or, you know, real obstacles as well. Like when I say real, I mean physical. But sometimes real obstacles are the ones that are internal, blocking us. Okay. Okay, makes sense for a shadow. You've also got Kali Ma coming through with major spiritual changes are unfolding. This is your chance to soar. Kali Ma is talking about facing fear. It's definitely about that, especially when we're right next to a tyrannical kind of situation. It's doing, sometimes you can look at it, all the global things, and it's like, it's just all too much. But you can start with yourself, your inner world, your maybe your shadows, things popping up that are around fears, that block you, let's say, or hold you back, and starting to go, you know what, if I can shine even just in my house or in my body, and then in my house and in my corner of the world, like the street, you know, just, you don't have to get out there necessarily. It has to be done in your own way. So you can get out there, of course, in community wise, but there's so many different ways of doing things, even just sending love to the universe, love to the world, that kind of thing. I feel like that's really honestly coming through with here, this kind of like cycle or pattern. Okay, really interesting. Really, really, really interesting. But this is the shadow. This is the shadow section, so it is stuff that you think about that's kind of like, is this all too much? That kind of thing. Okay, let's see what else we get today on your reading. I'm getting this one here. I thought it was reversed. Okay. So we've got the Aeon, which is kind of a replacement for Judgment. You also have the Prince of Cups. And you've got the Devil. Of course, the Devil's coming out in a shadow reading. It's definitely touching on fears. Like here, facing fear, tyrannical predator, like feeling like you are a victim, when that is a mindset that you can change, for sure. All the lessons you've learned, that kind of thing. Or even here, the Prince of Cups is kind of like, you you know, breaking the mold or something like that. There's something to do with breaking the mold. And even the Scorpion here reminding me of Scorpio, which is always about hard transitions, but super huge growth. And then the Prince of Cups himself always comes across to me like a lover of love, right? A lover of love. So if anything from the past, especially that you've learned from love, that was like keeping you stuck or anything like that. Honestly, it's so broad with this reading because it already started quite global with these two for me as the message came through. But sometimes seeing it globally will help you think of it internally and more pointed to you, let's say. Okay. And I'm feeling this read because Aquarius is my rising sign. Okay, so we have Temperance. I feel like this is really strong, especially with the frog here, talking again about transformation or change. Maybe the changes you've already gone through, but here, for some reason, Temperance, internal, start with your inner world, I would say. You don't have to solve the world's problems. You can help the world by helping yourself. If everyone helped themselves and got to a better place internally, you know, feeling, then we would all be in a kind of completely different world. Okay, I love this. Queen of Pentacles. Using your resources wisely, I feel. Using your resources to help others as well. What can you give? What can you, how can you help? Is it time? Is it money? Is it whatever it is? Okay, really interesting, really deep. Okay, and last one, you have the Page of Pentacles. This feels like innovation, and especially with the Aquarius card. I'm just going to move these a little bit. Maybe move that up here and then slide these across. Because of the light from my skylight. Okay, so sorry if it's a little bit bright, but that is just how it's going to have to be today because it's quite dark here in Brisbane. Okay, interesting, and there's always like little hints of change. Like this feels like transition, transformation. There's a small moth. Sometimes something small from your shadows, talking to your shadows, understanding them, even just identifying them. I'm not saying go dive into shadow work. I'm saying understand, acknowledge, do not avoid. Especially here with Aquarius. Aquarius is like the kind of like people's champion kind of thing. Like, you know, choice, people's leader for the people, more so than working for a select few or the top. It's more like for everybody, or maybe even for the ones that really need the assistance. So maybe you can be that kind of champion, and you can do it from everything that you've learned, everything you've gone through. However this is, start off with your internal world if you want to start there. You know your limits, you know what you've been through, obviously, especially here with facing fear and the reptilians coming through. This is very, how do I want to word it? It's very challenging, difficult times for sure. Maybe you've even been able to break an ancestral cycle or decided not to do what your family did or ancestors did and try to change that kind of mindset and thinking. Just remember that going from here to here, when there's a good middle ground, maybe just understanding that as well, because sometimes we're like, okay, I definitely don't want to be that, so I'm going to be here, but then you're like too far on the seesaw, you know, flips it up, and it's another imbalance. Sometimes that helps though, because when it's here, heavy here, you want that counterweight and eventually find a equilibrium that's more balanced, more peaceful. And like I said, I keep saying this, start internally from your shadows. Do you need to identify them, understand them? What shadows are you carrying around that aren't yours as well? That if you're watching, what are you consuming? Be mindful of what you consume as well, because the shadows can actually give you ideas for how you can work your light, and we'll get into that next. But the innovative is like, this isn't just to like wallow in shadows, this is to help you move forward in whatever you're going to do. So I'm going to clear this, probably cut the video and then restart, and we'll get into your light attributes and light, a message from the light. Hello again, Power One. So we're going to start now with your light. How can you work your light, or what message does the light have? So really interesting, starting with your shadow. It felt yellow grand, and then starting small, or starting from the first step and then slowly working your way. The goal doesn't even have to be, I guess, it can be set and then kind of set it, forget it, and then start with each step there. And if you look at the global kind of view, sometimes that can be like such a big gap that it's overwhelming. And I believe starting internally, especially with shadows, because shadows are something there to kind of keep us in fear, sometimes keep us stuck, but then they can also help us understand, okay, this isn't my truth. I'm not going to accept like this truth, let's say. So we'll see what comes through. So now we're working on your light. Okay, so you have the bluebird with pleasure. Very, very, very nice. Oh, and you have the bee with power right next to the Aquarius with humanitarian. It's like power, yes, but it's also a bee, right? It's the one that can work in a colony, works for the kind of greater good almost. Like, you know, some of them are drones. They're not there to reproduce or anything. They're there to work, do their job, take care of the larvae. Like, that is power, because while you might think they're just, you know, we call them drones, they're actually thinking about things beyond themselves. And I think that's exactly what, you know, the light attribute of an Aquarian is as well. Doing things for feeling what's right, let's just say that. Doing what they feel is right. Okay, so light. Wow, you've got the Holy Grail with inner discovery, finding sacredness. You are what you seek. It's almost feeling like you are already what you are working towards, because you are that. You already have that capability, that power. Also, inner discovery. This is why working shadow, even though we're talking about light now, working shadow has its benefits, because it's like it'll pop up with something that kind of related to an event, let's say, in our past. And it's like, oh yeah, I got through that. You can either see it two ways. You either see it as like, my world's always chaos or something like that. It's so hard. Or you can also, you know, reprogram your kind of thinking towards it's like, oh, I remember that. That was not great. I do not want to do that again, but I'm not going to let that event stop me, because I got through that. So now I can use that energy or that power to utilize that to get my task completed, what I want completed. So I can reach my goals is what I was eventually getting to. All right, and you have the Venusian Galactic Council, Starbeam Guides, Answer the Call, Time to Shine. Wow, right next to this bright card too. Power, time to shine. Time to stand up for what you believe in, especially internally. Time to say to your shadows, you know, you are there to remind me of my light. Okay. Very, very cool. Ooh. Okay, can I get a message with these cards, please, for pile 1 for the light? Okay, you have the 2 of Wands. This is really like the transition of, I know there's something better out there than what I'm experiencing. Ooh. This is definitely stepping into your power. 2 of Wands, 2 of Cups. Yeah, definitely what you want to experience, what you want to feel. Because while the 2 of Cups can be working with others, but remember, we've got pleasure as well. 2 of Cups is that kind of that fun. You have to have the serious with the fun. The serious was really touching on the shadow, and this has to come through as like work as well, right? The power, having that energy to, I don't know, create what you want to envision in your life. But we also need, like, you know, they're watching a movie. We need that fun as well, that pleasure, that enjoyment of life. It's not all about struggle and challenges. Okay. And lastly, you have the Hermit. This is nice. Because even here, it's like, you know, they're at their computer deciding what they want to experience. And here's like understanding what you really want to experience. What kind of feelings do you want to feel? It's not about just the things, it's about the feelings. How can you get the feeling you want to feel in your reality? And your light is definitely going with that. You've got the star being guides. Really feels like not just let's say ET guides, it really feels like more I guess more broad with your spirit guides. But give yourself some space. The Hermit is feeling more, you know, not going to a dark cave to meditate for a year or something. She's just listening to music, hanging out on her bed, just getting some space. Give yourself some space. If you need your space, make sure you get that. Okay, so you have the King of Wands. Really nice King of Wands. It's just living his best life. That really feels like how it is. He's just sitting there, you know, living his truth, I guess. Doing things his own way, uniqueness. This is all about uniqueness. It's really strong here, inner discovery. And even the answer to the call, it feels like your own uniqueness. How do you want to interact and be in this planet, let's say? And it's not like you have to change your whole entire life in one day. It's just really giving yourself the space to know how you can best work your energy, your power, your light. I feel like that it's almost like I want to say there's no wrong path. The only time you're on the wrong path is if you're procrastinating and thinking about what's the right path, just to live. Okay, so we have the Two of Cups again, the Two of Cups. Yeah, it's definitely feeling like, especially now we've got two twos, well, not two twos, but two of Cups. It really does it really does feel like it's touching on connections for sure. How do you want to be, not just with yourself, but also with close people to you. Really, really interesting. But making sure you are enjoying those times. Your light is saying, like, while some of it's serious, also a lot of it needs to be fun and pleasurable and enjoyable. Okay, and then you have the Nine of Wands. This feels like really, you know how it normally talks about not giving up, being close to the end. But this is like, give yourself the space to rest as well. Because you can, obviously, of course, don't give up on what you want to see in your dreams and how you want to view the world and how you want to be living in the world. Because that all starts really internally. A lot of this is internal. That's just how this is coming through. It's like hugely internal. But you've got a lot of fire. You've got a lot of power. Like, you know, there's a lot of wands coming through. Even though this one's is blue and it's kind of giving me a little bit of emotions as well. So utilizing your emotions in your expression of self, let's say. But again, you are what you seek. So if you do seek to be, let's say, a lawyer, you're already that. You're already starting to take on that role, that kind of energy. You want to be humanitarian, you know, whatever it is. You can start doing that. Has to be realistic as well, right, with rationality. more rational. But I'm seeing from your light, it's touching on a lot of balance, making sure you are setting the goal, but not thinking of the final result, more just like the first step, the next step. Take it step by step, just like the 9. Utilize the things you've learned too, because she's gone through a lot of challenges to get to the 9s. The ones are challenging cards sometimes because they are, physical, external pressure. So you've learned a lot to get to where you are now. Make sure you tap into that and understand what that power really is, because that's how you can change your reality or your world. So this feels like really blended pleasure, giving you back your power or reclaiming it, I guess is a good way of putting it. I know it's a kind of catchphrase, but it is really with the B here, reclaiming it. But the B is also community driven. So start with the people close to you and how maybe even working with them to see how they want to live this life, even within a relationship, friendship, whatever gives you pleasure or bliss. I feel aligning yourself with bliss feels like a really good way of doing this. And there's no rush. Give yourself the time. You'll know when the timing is right. You'll know when to start things. You'll know when to leave things as they are and pick up the next thing, and then come back to it, that kind of thing. All right, and that's exactly what I see in your reading today. So hopefully this has helped. A little bit different, a little bit in more kind of talking shadows, talking light. So it's a bit I guess quick in regards to the normal time I spend with readings, but it does look really nice. Obviously here this is all opportunity. Working with the shadow is opportunity. It does look like you've gone through many things, especially with your shadow, and here it shows that. And so why give up when you've already gone through a lot of the hard stuff, almost at the finish line to get what you really want or what you deserve. Maybe you've already got there. Anyway, thank you very much for being here. Hopefully you've enjoyed, and I'll see you in your next reading. Hello, part number 2. Welcome to your reading today. So we're going to start off with the shadow. So I'm doing shadow and then light. I will put breaks in so you know where each segment is. So you have chosen the waxing crescent moon with focus, conceptualization, and strategy. This feels very planned, like very meticulous kind of energy, this one. So we'll see how this comes through. All right, so part number 2, a message from the shadow. So you've got the short grays with timid, misunderstood, and shy. Okay. You also have Talcetans with resilient, bold, and sassy. Really kind of interesting here, because while it's like sassy, sometimes it's feeling like, responding in a way that's kind of happy, but a little bit stab, like, a little bit like stab kind of thing in response to certain ways or certain people. So we'll see what else comes out. Interesting, because there's nothing wrong with having sass, right? Being sassy, but you don't want to have it be the control or be who you, how do I word this? Not be who you are, but be just what people see. There's so much more layers and facets to you. And sometimes the shy ones are the ones that come out with like the quick jabs, let's say. Because they just want to be left alone to do their thing, to do what they were focusing on. Interesting. Okay, so a message from the shadow. Oop. Okay, so you've got Freya with phases and cycles. There is a beginning with every ending. Illusions are being revealed. So Don't let your shadows tell you who you are. Your shadows are there to remind you of what you've been through, but not to give you fear, to show that you're resilient, you're powerful, right? You're stronger than just that. Maybe you're coming up to a new cycle or the next cycle with regards to shadows, or maybe even shadows and light, because one, you can't have one without the other. You also have White Eagle with Ancestor Spirit. Connect to your lineage. A family wound can be healed now. So White Eagle really doesn't come out unless it is strongly focused on ancestor spirits, ancestor guides, or even a lineage of, like, let's say a cycle of family, some kind of abuse or something like that, that can be broken. Or maybe you already have gone through that and broken that. And it's about balance, right? So you can be here, but then you can also turn here and be completely like, too free. Sometimes the structure and stuff is good, so there has to be a balance, making sure that you have that balance. And you are speaking up. I feel like this might be a bit of a challenge, speaking your up, or being, not really being honest, because I feel like that's here. You are doing what you're supposed to be doing, let's say. It's just some extra kind of like oomph. We'll see what the tarot has to say with this. So a message from your shadow. Got the Princess of Swords. And this one's interesting because, again, she touches on wittiness as well with here. But she's learning how to kind of, I guess, not control her mind, but master her ability of understanding where certain feelings and thoughts come from. She's learning. You also have the Seven of Wands, again speaking up for yourself, standing in your power, that all those kind of like catchphrases, but truths, right, in this. All these challenges you've gone through, maybe that made you feel small or minimized. They are your weapon, I feel. They can be utilized as a weapon. Really what you've been through. This is navigating challenging situations, rough waters, let's say. One place to the next place. Maybe moving a lot in the past. So many things this could be, I guess, triggers or for. Shadows sometimes are seen as like triggers. Sometimes not the thing that the person says, it's actually something that they said, but that touches on a much deeper, let's say, wound. This is all about healing that. Okay. And it's not about just going, yep, it's healed in one step. This is taking the first step. This is how it's feeling. Phases and cycles, sometimes it's like it's a cycle, you go back and forward, right? But you're still progressively, slowly get it going forward. It's not always like a nice little run of stairs. You have the King of Swords. These could be people as well, which is interesting because the poppies in the background are feeling like memories. So it's feeling like not necessarily memories, but just like how opioids or poppies, like they're kind of drowsy. It's like that sleep kind of thing, kind of with the Wizard of Oz, when she does the poppy thing and they all fall asleep. You also have the Knight of Swords. So a lot of swords, a lot of thinking, a lot of like thoughts. And if you are this kind of conceptualized strategy focused person, you already utilize your swords, right? You're already there in your swords a lot, in your mind, in your ear. That is a lot of swords. Okay, and finally you have the Empress. This, honestly, is such a kind of deep feeling, because it's like nurturing, right? And you can do as much as you can, but sometimes things don't always work out, and like it doesn't feel like a burrow here. It feels like almost like a buried loved one or past one. So it's like a lot of energy from the past, it feels like, coming through, where maybe things should have been nurturing and potentially weren't, or maybe you've flipped that story, but still need to, I guess, acknowledge and release it, and this is not your truth anymore. Really interesting cards coming through from your shadow pile number 2. I believe there's some walls that will come down, which might feel kind of triggering, right? But it is necessary. It's like too much structure, too many boundaries that are unhealthy, because having no boundaries is unhealthy, right? Having too many boundaries is unhealthy. It has to be a balance. What are you protecting? I feel like your vulnerability. You're afraid because there's some kind of fear based there, especially from the past. Things that should have been, maybe they weren't. It's really coming through in here. And I know the light's shining through now, so we're going to go to the light. But so much here, and I hope it's really been it's come through, because here he's very focused too, and it's okay to be focused on what you want, but you want to slow down as well to really move on from this in a healthy way. Ignoring it, I feel like, is fine for a while, but eventually it's going to keep coming through, and then you'll need to start looking at it. Okay, so I'm going to clear this, and I'll get into your shadow reading. Sorry, not your shadow reading, your light reading. Hello, hello. Welcome, pile number 2. So now we'll go straight into your light reading. So this is normally more about information, let's say, and you already have like a lot of swords, so there's a lot already going through your mind. A lot of wisdom and intelligence within you. So we'll see how that can be utilized in the light. So can I get a light card, please? Alright, so you've got the whale with communication. Healthy communication, for sure. You also have vision. White tiger. I mean, that is so you, right? Focus, vision. You know what you want. Don't let the shadows and the past slow you down, because it feels like you are almost overqualified for whatever you want to go through. And I don't mean that with a piece of paper. I mean that with your internal kind of fire soul. Okay. Okay, this came out with the last part as well. So this one's coming out again. You've got the Holy Grail with inner discovery, finding sacredness, and you are what you seek. Like I literally just said, you already are this. You already are you already are qualified or good enough for it, or when I'm talking about it, I'm talking about your goals, your personal kind of goals, or how you want to utilize your light with people, with how you speak, how you talk. Sometimes it's really hard because if you're that shy kind of person or introvert like me, then it's hard to kind of speak up and speak out and start doing things. But when you start, just like here with me talking to you now, even though I am kind of in my own little space, I am feeling and connecting with your energy. Okay, I think we got a couple here. So you have third eye activation, brow chakra, inner visions, clear seeing. Kind of seeing, maybe you're like waking up to the idea that, oh yeah, you do have all this power and energy and everything within you to be able to do whatever you want, or create your the reality you want to live in. And then you also have Thoth light codes with light initiation, great teacher, awakening, and divine magic. Yeah, you have a lot. Great teacher, awakening. Maybe you don't want to see that, some of you, but I feel like it's kind of like sometimes it's a hard thing, because you're like, I want to know what my path is. That's my path. That's what I chose for my. I'll go adjacent to it. This is calling you now. I feel like you already know. Maybe you already have these visions and third eye. You already have this high sensitivity to what we would call psychic abilities, but I feel like it's just human abilities that we haven't tapped into yet, or that we're evolving into better. Okay, ooh, really interesting. This is nice. Okay, so message from your light. This is like all the blessings that you can get. Look at this, even this, like his goggle, or like glasses, I guess, like just the vision again. Page of Cups. How you want to feel, what kind of feelings do you want to experience? And then look how high vibe it is. Like, he's not necessarily doing anything to someone or with someone, like speaking or anything like that, but his aura is kind of like beautiful. Okay. You also have the Seven of Cups. Really interesting one here. Deciding on what to drink, right? What to do. What do I choose today? Just choose it one at a time. Maybe you do all of it. But one cup at a time. Okay, you also have the Knight of Pentacles. I'll just read what's saying here. It says, meet me at 2 o'clock. I have good news. Okay, interesting. Maybe a message coming through. And again, focus, conceptualize strategy. Knight of Pentacles is all about that. He's the one that conceptualizes, makes decisions, and then goes forward with it. So he's not the knight that charges in straight away. He has a plan. Really lovely cards coming through for you, pile number 2, in your light. And I feel like it's partially because of all you've been through, and also because of the resilience of you as a person, as a human, not just as a soul, right? As your physical form, you've really gone through it, worked through many challenges, and look at the opportunities and benefits you've created yourself. Again, Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, of course. I already said that. You are the, let's say, brainiac. If you were ever thinking of studying something and you really wanted to, go into it. Whether that's psychic, whether that's whatever it is, ask your heart, ask your soul. Because you probably already have done that in a different lifetime. You also have the Knight of Wands. I like how they're facing each other too. Okay. All right, and then we've got the Emperor at the end of your reading, being that strong stability, and this feels like true, real kind of strength, and it's not like you haven't had that before. It's just more from a space of correct, I want to say, even though I don't like saying that because it feels too like, something is incorrect, but it's more correct boundaries for you, correct structure for you. You can still have your structure and your focus and your particular ways, but it's not a bad thing to kind of revisit those boundaries. Some of them were set up maybe from childhood that no longer is your reality, so you don't need to fear or have those particular structures in place. Easier said than done, especially you, Mr. or Mrs. whoever, Knight of Pentacles, Mr. Strategy, Mrs. Strategy, whoever. Speak to who you need to speak with, communicate, clear out some of this old energy, I want to say, because this divine magic is already within you. You already are what you seek, like literally what this card's saying. You already are that lawyer that you want to be, that scientist, that psychic, that whatever. You already are this. You already are. I want to say that you already are. The energy within you is already there. And how you want to play that out is 100% your choice. Okay. Trust your intuition, trust your inner soul, trust your light. Do what you need to. Do you need to meditate? Do that. But keep going with what feels right to you. If something pops up that's like a little bit off feeling, trust that intuition and then have a look. You know, we've just did the shadow as well. Is it an old boundary that you've put in that no longer needs to be there? Is it the shadow? Is it your ego saying that? Or is it actually something that's true, that just doesn't align with what you envision, you conceptualize, you're creating, I want to say. Okay, really nice reading. I just breathing in because I want to like, sometimes when the message comes through, it wants to get it all out at once, so I need to take a breath as well and make sure I don't asphyxiate myself. Okay, but thank you very much for being here. Hopefully you've enjoyed. I'll be back again with another reading next time, so hopefully I can see you then. Take care of yourself. Hello, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. So you've chosen the new moon, and if you're watching this, the next new moon is in Aquarius. Yes, we're in Aquarius season. Sorry, not Aquarius. Gemini. Wrong one. I was thinking of the lines, and I was like, one of those two. Yeah, but this one is Gemini. So you've got creation, intention, and potential. Really nice. Nice cards coming out straight away. We are going to focus first on your shadow because that really helps know how to work your light, right? Understanding our shadows really helps us work our light. So we're going to start off with shadows. Okay, yes, I know you want to be picked. So you've got the Visca Piscis or Pisces, Visca Pisces. I hope that's how you pronounce it. Anyway, divine feminine, birthing and fertility. Interesting. Maybe something from the past is trying to come through here. It's either from, yeah, it feels heavy for some reason, this one. Okay, your shadow, do you want this one? Yes. Okay, you've also got the short grays with timid, misunderstood and shy. This one coming out again. Makes sense though, because it feels like it's left you feeling like you needed to minimize yourself or not really minimize yourself. Maybe you felt small in some way because of a situation that you were trying to create. Like when it says birthing and creation, it could have been like a business or an idea that kind of got squashed. But just because that didn't work out or that wasn't realized doesn't mean it was a bad idea, right? Doesn't mean that, and it doesn't mean you can't have good ideas or be successful, whether that's in kind of like human biology or in the physical world. Okay. You also have the Holy Spirit with miracles, or expect miracles. Remember that only love is real. Miracles will occur naturally. Spirit has your back. This is about a mindset of lack, I feel, coming through with the shadows. When, the Holy Spirit is all about light. So it's interesting she's coming out, but that's the whole point when it's in the shadows is, yes, these are here. If you expect the best possible outcome will be achieved. If you already have put in your mindset that you've lost or that's not going to be successful, then you've already set that expectation, right? And the universe will meet that because it'll see that as what you want or what you believe. And you also had Mercury with open communication. Get a weight off your chest, speak up with love and be heard. Yep, hard when you're like, I can feel this kind of thing personally as well. When you're shy, timid, maybe an introvert, let's say, speaking up and getting a weight off your chest can feel like a huge challenge, right? It can be like too much. Like it's like, no, I don't want to do that kind of thing. It's hard. But if your current reality is touching on or too many shadows are coming through at once and you're not able to really be the true you that you know you are, then it's time. speak up to yourself, stand up to yourself as well. Sometimes we need to stand up to your shadows. They are yours, but they are there to remind you of what you can do and what you can accomplish. Okay, yeah, Ace of Wands. This is definitely about creation and what you want to, I guess, create in your life, or what you want to experience. And it does feel like a more physical thing than just a feeling. It's like a, you know, wanting to do pottery or something like that. Something personal. That certain things are holding you back. Like fear of making a mistake. I might put these up there. You also have art, which is interesting because I was just saying pottery. It's like, you know, creation. But this one is a play on the Temperance card. So it's kind of like Thoth mixed with, I guess, regular tarot. Or more common tarot. Okay. And we have the Two of Cups. Right, so it doesn't have to be just the external, it doesn't have to be just the physical creation. It can be like your internal world or your connections with other people from the past. Maybe not saying what you wish you did say. Okay, just move these over here. But definitely past connections are feeling like that's where some of these shadows might be coming from, like a communication from these shadows. Okay, so you have the Ace of Wands again. Wow. You have the World. Busy, busy bee. I want to say work harder. No, work smarter, not harder. That's kind of that's how that's coming through. And the King of Pentacles. Really interesting that these are the shadows coming through, because you might look at this and think these are great cards, but if these are what's holding you back from like creating what you want to see in the world, then this can be really challenging, because it's like, you know, sometimes when you have actual physical lack of like a home or like a money or something like that, or like the idea that there's a lack, that can be really challenging, and other people might feel like they don't understand, and that can weigh on you. So, because everyone just goes through things differently, right? Everyone has their own shadows, their own challenges, and with the communication, especially here with this web, because spiders always make me think of connections, right? Because they have a web, and if one taps here, they literally, the vibrations are what they attracts them towards that section of their web. So welcome when we say about your shadows. I feel like your shadows are wanting you to release something, because it's like this. It's like healing as well. There's like a message of healing something through, almost like expelling it from your body, like just saying this is no longer a part of my truth, my soul. I release this from my soul or my heart with love. But it's no longer part of who I am or who I want to identify as moving forward, or from this day onwards. And expect the best. Easier said than done, but why not? What's the worst? Expecting the best, what's the worst that could happen? Nothing. And it's really coming through. This is about your inner world. The spider is solitary. It's like your inner world first. Inner understanding first. There's no one out there that can kind of do this for you, I feel. This is for you to get to that place of, I guess, acceptance and self-satisfaction. So interesting shadow. Hopefully it's not holding you back too much from what you deserve and what you can get and what you can create. What's the limit of your potential? Unlimited. See it as that, because it's true. Okay, so I'm going to clear this and we'll have a look at your light. Okay, so welcome back. So we'll start with your light cards. So this is really touching on how can you utilize your light? how can you utilize your best qualities for yourself and others however you want to. It's purely up to you. Okay, so you have the Beta with purity, really cleansing some of that old energy from those shadows. It's not like you have to beat them up, it's just telling them that they will not be utilized in the way of feeling lack or loss or something like that. And you have intelligence. Well, obviously, you've picked creation and potential and intention. The octopus with intelligence. Utilizing your best skill to enhance or to drive growth in other areas. That is where it's all coming from. You also have the ancestral realm, karmic release, healing the lineage and boundaries. Yep, that feels like where those, I guess, the shadows were coming from. Some of the old things, maybe something from your past regarding parents, family, etc. Acceptance of self and others. And you also have high heart activation, dropping shields, divine love, your heart is healed. Oh, it feels like you've gone a lot. Like, I don't think the shadow aspect really covered every single aspect of what was kind of feeling like a challenge, let's say, to create or to manifest, let's say, what you want in your life. I know it's used a lot, but it's just how it feels. Dropping shields and boundaries. This is about removing outdated boundaries for sure. You've got the Strength card. This is really being able to tame that inner beast, and I feel like understanding it, I know it was the reading was a bit hard to pinpoint, but it may be many little things that turn into a feeling of unable or whatever. Okay. So you have the Three of Cups. Yep. Again, touching back on enjoying life. Higher heart activation is feeling like love, unconditional kind of love, or high love feelings. And you've got the Three of Cups, and that's all about celebrating. Celebration of what you've achieved, what you've accomplished, what you can do, because you've already done many things. Okay, and the Knight of Cups. I like that. Getting in touch with your emotions, because sometimes people will see emotions as weakness, and they're absolutely not. People are able to express their emotions freely without self-judgment are the ones who can, be true to themselves, really. It's not about fitting into any box. It's about expressing yourself as truly as you can on any given day. Okay, interesting. Lots of clearing, lots of cleansing, and I feel like you already are cleansing things. You already are taming this. You already can do this. You already are doing this. You already have done this in the past. Okay, so you've got the Four of Swords. I would definitely say make sure while you're looking at this reading and processing a lot of the information that's kind of been dropped, know that there is no rush to goals. They have to be prepared in a way that's true to you, right? And take some time to enjoy life, because it's not just all about working our shadows and working our light and our jobs and things like that and what things we have. It's how we feel as well. How we feel with everything that's going on. You also have the Nine of Wands, definitely talking about being so close to the end of a particular cycle. Maybe one, especially with the light, being in the light, is something that's releasing an old shadow here. Old karmic release. see, it's almost like seeing that as a good thing. Because sometimes like two people, same situation, can see it one way and someone else can view it this way. Like, thank goodness I'm alive. Or, you know, and on the opposite, it's like, oh my gosh, my car's wrecked or something like that. Like, obviously you'll feel both. But if you kind of go, okay, well, I'm still alive. I still can do what I need to do. Let's get this sorted so I can get back to, you know, whatever whatever road I was going on. And how do I feel about it? Because sometimes you can ignore that, and then it pops up later because you didn't process the kind of shock or whatever happened with a, you know, that given event. All about balance. So you've got the Two of Pentacles. Making sure you are, if you are working on your shadows, you're working it in conjunction or in balance for a purpose in your light. What do you want to make of this? What do you want to, maybe you want to clear certain things, like help people cleanse their own energy. Your story, you have a story here with this ancestral, you have a past, and it doesn't have to be your present, but it might help someone know that they can get through certain things too. And I feel like that is just what's coming through. Doesn't mean you have to speak up and tell it, but say it to yourself for sure. And here, dropping shields, dropping old walls that no longer you need to protect yourself. Open yourself up to feel again, or feel certain things again, or be willing to, because even if whether it does happen again or not, it really is about being open to that possibility. I do want to pull another card. I don't know why, but we'll have a look what comes out. Oh, okay, I see why. So you've got the 10 of Cups. I'm going to leave that right at the end. That balance, that fulfilling feeling. Every time you reach a milestone, celebrate it with your family, friends, whoever is close to you that you trust and you want to enjoy this with, because every milestone is a success and should be felt and enjoyed. All right, so that's exactly what I see in your light here. Talking about a lot of release, purifying, especially here with this ancestral thing. Maybe it is touching on family or something like that, but it feels more open. My readings generally are super open because, for one, this is a general kind of message for particular piles, but it does feel like it does cater to you in some way as well. Your heart is healed. Hard to flip some of these old shadows, right? But look at the blessing that it kind of brings. It brings such a strong, confident, fulfilling, back on the, also like healing some kind of like inner child as well, inner youth who you used to be. Doesn't mean you want to be that again, but that kind of a certain aspect or feeling from there being brought back into your present. Okay, and that's exactly what I see. Hopefully you've enjoyed. Thank you very much for getting a reading from me today. I really enjoyed this one. It's really nice. So many things you've gone through, right? So many different aspects to go through, but then it's your choice to whether that's something that stops you or something that empowers you to get things done and see the future or whatever you want to see in your life. So I will say goodbye and I'll see you in the next reading. Hello, pile number 4. Welcome to your reading. So really interesting with this one. You've chosen the Sun, life, vitality, and purpose. Such a big kind of energy reading for this one. We'll see how this goes with the shadow and with the light. The Sun obviously being the light, but you wouldn't be able to see the Sun if there wasn't any shadow. So we need to have a look at this shadow aspect. All right. Ooh, don't need the book. Okay, so for pile number 4, what shadow needs to be talked about, or what message from your shadow needs to be discussed? So you have the Alchemy, the Philosopher's Stone, Infinite, Destiny, and Magic. Really interesting. We've got purpose and destiny. You're all about that, making sure you're on your right path. Interesting is coming through as a shadow. It may be that you're unsure of your purpose, unsure of your goals, or like what you want to do. And I would say if you're alive, you're living your purpose. You're living your destiny, let's say, your goals. You also have the golden ratio with beauty, nature, and patterns. This is really touching on cycles, but it also swirls down, right? It's like knowing many things, planning many things, but not committing to many things. Okay, very interesting. Okay, so message from the shadows. You have Katumi or Kuthumi, Cloak of Wisdom. You already know the answers you seek. Trust what you know. Yeah, if you're really talking about life purpose, soul purpose, destiny, that kind of thing, what you should be doing, I feel like you probably don't want to hear it, but it's really coming through quite clear. You know what that is. You already have all the pieces of the puzzle, I want to say. You've also got Kuan Yin, care and compassion. Choose to be love, do what is right for everyone involved, offer a helping hand. This is definitely about giving and receiving here, making sure maybe in the past that wasn't your truth, right? It wasn't something that you were given or experienced or expressed from whatever happened in the past. So I feel like that's coming through. Especially here with nature and beauty. Seeing the beauty of your own soul, I feel like there's some kind of lack or hold back, I want to say. You're holding back, and maybe it is in regards to some shadow that touches on here, and it's almost like thinking you're not divine, which you are. Okay, interesting. I think this one wants to come through. So you've got the High Priestess. You've got the Art card, which is Temperance. And you also have the Four of Wands. Such an interesting shadow. We're talking about shadows here, but there's so many things here that are like success. I feel like if there is a high, certain things you get done, right? You do a lot, but still don't feel it. This is some inner work to be had, especially here with the High Priestess, understanding this kind of, I guess, locked box within you, the secret within you. Go deep within if you want to really understand the shadow, let's say, or get a message from it, speak to it, not to let it consume you, but to really understand what its purpose is. I think understanding the sections or the purpose of your shadow will help you understand your purpose of your life and light. So you have the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups. Okay. This is so successful, I feel. But if you have that feeling of not enough, then it doesn't matter how much good you do and things you bring in or the amount of stuff you do. If you feel like you aren't, then that's your truth, right? You have the Ten of Wands. So many things, so many things have been kind of done. When I say kind of done, I mean so many things you have accomplished and completed, and still there's so many shadows that are like, that should be in the light aspect. I feel they should be in the light, but it's your truth, right? With the Queen coming through, Queen of Cups, it is feeling like that not getting or not feeling what you are giving. It's like, but why, like, you know, give, why am I not feeling it? Are you accepting it? Are you open to it? I feel like this for you, partner, before is really going within. It's definitely personal for each person, of course, but this is like very specifically each person. There's not just a little hint here that can go for this group. this group and this group watching pile number 4, but it's more like each individual has their own kind of secret to unlock within. And if it's a shadow, maybe it's an old secret that is, I guess, popping up. If you are feeling any lack or any fears or shadows or anything like that, acknowledging it first, and then I guess interviewing your own shadow, understanding your own shadow is like talking to it. So you know exactly what it means and what it's trying to do. So you know that you can utilize that shadow as something to propel you rather than hold you back. But there's so much, it's so giving too with these. Doing what's right for so many people, but carrying so much weight. Like this is the struggle of the salmon. They're going up the rapids, right? They're going against the river flow. They have a purpose for this, but it feels like you are treading water almost. Even though you are succeeding and accomplishing many things, reaching certain milestones, it feels like if the shadow wants you to not appreciate and recognize that, that's exactly what it will do. This is a very interesting one. I think your light is really going to shine, I guess, the light on your shadow as well. So really interesting, hard to kind of like pinpoint, but I feel it's like really personal. And I think you already know, potentially, especially here, you already know the answers you seek. Trust what you know. You already have it. You already are aware of it. But I think you just need to look at it in a different way, or maybe kind of conceptualize the shadow and review it, I guess. Review it, or interview it. Interesting, very strange words to say, but we'll get into your light aspects now. Okay, welcome back. So, pile number 4, let's have a look at your light. Such an interesting, deep, kind of philosophical shadow, right? It's if anything, I would say it's like very ancient, an ancient shadow. But if it's popping up, it's one that wants to work with you and help you understand what it is and move on from it, or utilize it in a better way, work with it in some sense. You got the Phoenix with renewal. Such huge energy, such fiery energy with the Sun and the Phoenix. Both very hot, all from the flames. This is about renewal, not just renewal, it's like transformation. And you also have the Fox with solitude. This might be taking some time to understand all this. Whether you remember this reading or not, I feel like give yourself the space, give yourself some time to connect and understand this. Maybe speak with your higher self if you want to do a meditation. There's so many on YouTube, and you're watching this right here, so you can just Google one. There's quite a few that are really good, honestly. Trust your intuition, because you'll know which one's right for you. If one speaks to you, check it out. Okay, so you have higher heart activation, dropping shields, divine love, your heart is healed. Really, really nice. Such a lovely light message too. Give yourself space. Give yourself time to go through this kind of understanding and change. You also have Sirius star blessings. Yes, proceed, be seen, push through. Okay. Your light is like your biggest supporter, I want to say. Your guides, obviously, and yourself, your higher self. So you have to get on board with the let's say the plan. Get on board with your life. If you want to envision it, start making that happen. Start seeing it in your mind's eye and start working towards that. So you have the Ten of Swords. Really getting out of that lack. Your shadow is kind of popping up here as well, I feel. So you've got the King of Wands, so much to offer. Here again, another fiery card, and also the King, so it's the top echelon, let's say. Ooh. Okay, I'm getting this one. So the 10 of Cups, getting the feelings you want to feel for sure, and the Ace of Cups. So interesting, 10 of Cups and Ace of Cups. And I love this because it's like pouring tea. You know, while we're talking about light and shadows, it's not all about work. It's, again, this feeling is coming through again. Let the transformation or the refresh come through for you. Let the old end, because we've got like the end of the Miner's Swords, the end of the Court card Wands, the end of the Miner's Cups, and then the start of it. So it's like endings. Let the endings end. Let the you know, the enjoyment, the feelings, like your successes, feel those. The ones that failed, you know, they may not have worked out, but you've learned something from them. You've learned from the things that haven't come through to what you envision. It doesn't mean you give up on them. Or it doesn't mean you can't even think of something better, right? Because the King of Wands has a lot of charisma and a lot of power, so utilize that. You already picked the Sun, you already have that. But if you need space to go through this change, and maybe it's like an internal change of like thoughts and mind, let that be. Let that happen. Give yourself space with the Fox. The Fox is all about giving space, right? Okay, here we go again. Hanged Man. Give yourself time. Also, upside down. It does feel like you know, gravity pulls the stuff that you might be carrying that you may not need to anymore. Definitely touching on the shadow. So secretive, I feel. So like in your face, but also secretive, I want to say for you. You're kind of like, everyone knows you're there, but not everyone sees the true you that you know. You also have the Knight of Swords. I like that. I love it going from the Hanged Man to the Knight of Swords. So it's like, it's not a waste of time. Giving yourself space to I guess understand and accomplish and review the good stuff, the hard lessons, let's say, and going towards what you want to experience and feel. And lastly, you have the 8 of Pentacles. Yeah, you always do a lot of stuff anyway. I'm saying that like I know you, but just from the cards, you always get a lot of things done, or you have a lot of ideas. So you'll be able to focus and go forward with what you want to accomplish and what you want to see. Again, it may be a feeling, maybe it's expressing an idea or a passion, right? Learn from things that haven't worked out. But if you have a question in regards to what you can do, take it as a yes, you can. But first of all, you have to believe it too and unlock it. So go within and see what that is, if there is anything holding you back. If you don't feel like there is, then what are you waiting for? Go for it. Go forward with what like connection you want to feel or express, or what passions you want to kind of explore in this world, because it's all open to you. And you have the energy to do this, and you can rise again from, you know, wins and losses. They're all learning opportunities. Okay, and that is my reading for you, part number 4. Really interesting reading, kind of in-depth person, right? There's the face of you, and there's the behind the scenes, let's say. And while I'm putting them in two things, they are one. You are this, and that's okay. You don't have to be always you're, you know, in a showing out either or, but finding a good balance for you that doesn't stop you from doing and completing the tasks that you want to see in your life. Okay, thank you very much for being there. Have a good day, and I'll see you in the next reading.